Okay, guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. A while back, we already had an episode talking about the high refusal rates for the different visas na pwedeng applyan dito from, student visa, kung ikaw ay magtatrabaho temporarily, or pati ang visitor visa. For this episode, we will focus on visitor visas. The reality is, kahit yung visitor visa, yung dapat, ikaw ay magiging turista lang dito, bibisita, may gagawin lang panandalian, temporarily, pati yan inaabuso. Meron po nag-a-apply for visitor visas. Yung pala, pagdating dito, ang kanilang real intention is to stay for the longer term. Alam din po ng IRCC yan. Nakikita nila yung trends sa, kumbaga, rising abuse sa visitor visa. At yan ang dahilan kung bakit naghihigpit sila sa kanilang visa screenings. Kayo po ba? May planong mag-apply for a visitor visa, perhaps for your parents, your family members, or kung kayo ay gusto lang talaga bumisita dito to see your friends, see how their lives are here, at nagwo-worry kayo dahil ang latest data dyan, 50% ang refusal rate for visitor visas. In short, 1 in 2 ang nade-deny. Okay, later on, I will share with you an interview also, which I recorded earlier, with one of our SUKES, immigration consultant, Dayanara in Puerto Pantigue, wherein she will give us tips kung paano, kumbaga, ma-i-increase ang inyong chances to get an approval. Okay, there are no guarantees, but anyway, she will give us information. Ano ba ang pwede mong i-prepare, ipakita, para maengganyo si immigration officer na i-approve ang iyong visitor visa application. For now, bakit ko pa ito gusto pag-usapan? Kasi, I just saw this article from Canada.ca. March 2025 pa po siya in-upload or pinublish. But I think it would still be interesting for many of you. Dito po pinapaliwanag ng IRCC. Klaro na kung bakit sila naghihigpit at ano na ang mga naging resulta ng kanilang paghihigpit sa visitor visa screenings o application screenings. And later on, as you have seen in the title of this episode, meron pong isang bansa na talagang identified at merong significantly higher refusal rate. Sige, mamaya na po natin yan pupuntahan. Sige. Ito po ang article na yan. Visa integrity, strong visa, secure borders, Canada's focus on visa integrity. Ayan, March 2025 po siya pinost. Let's go to this part, the challenges and current landscape. Ibig sabihin, ano ang konteksto, ano ang nangyayari sa environment ngayon, na dahilan kung bakit kailangan nilang maghigpit, okay, sa visa applications. Ito po ang aking focusan ito. Current decision-making pressures. Ibig sabihin, yan. What is pressuring them to take action? Ito po ang sabi dito. There is changing client behavior and risk environment post-pandemic. Merong rising rates, ayan, of real attempted exploitation. Okay, kaya yan po yung ating title. Real attempted exploitation. Meron ding increasingly sophisticated fraud. Rising misuse of Canada's TR program from clients applying to visit Canada with the actual intent of remaining long-term. Ito yung sinabi ko kanina. Or crossing the Canada-US border illegally. Okay, so that's what's happening. Alam nila, there is an increasing intent to visit Kuno, Canada, pero ang actual intent ay to remain for the long term. Palagay nyo mga Pilipino, yan din ba ginagawa din? Well, syempre, meron at meron din yan. Let's be real. Ito na. Results of stronger visa screening. So ano na ang nangyari sa kanilang paghihigpit? At a glance, sabi dito, results of additional security, updated officer guidance and training, and a focus on countries generating the most visa abuse. So, nagkaroon daw ng focus sa mga bansang merong pinakamataas na abuse rate. 16% higher global visa refusal rate in 2024 with tighter screening for illegal intent. Ang naging resulta, merong daw average na 9,000 investigations per month sa visa misrepresentation noong 2004. Ang dami, no? 9,000 every month. Okay. Dahil din daw sa paghihigpit, nabawasan ng 40% ang nakuhang mga applications noong January 2025 compared to a year ago. Okay, so ibig sabihin, effective in deterring potential fraudulent applications. Itong alam nila, yung kaalaman na naghihigpit ngayon. Okay. At ito na. May focus daw sa countries, di ba? Generating most abuse. Ito ang clearly identified dito. From India. Okay, generally guys, 50%, 'di ba, ang visa refusal rate, visitor visa refusal rate. Pero pagdating sa bansang India, it's 81%. 81% India visa refusal rate in December 2024. Tapos may parenthesis, a top source of visa misuse, including southbound apprehensions and asylum claims. Okay. Tapos, tumaas din daw ng 64% ang mga napatawa ng 5-year bans dahil sa fraud. Okay. January 2025 compared to a year ago. Mukhang na-discourage din daw yung mga gumagamit ng refugee program para makapasok sa Canada dahil nabawasan din daw ng 28% yung asylum claims in January 2025 compared to December 2024. Diba? Interesting data. If you're asking if there are other countries mentioned here in this report, meron hindi lang po India ang naka-cite dito. Nung summer daw po, 2024, sabi, there were refocused efforts on overall screening and processing for high-risk countries. Okay. Using new indicators, recent intelligence, and updated officer guidance, and changes to risk triaging. Ayan. So, hindi lang po India ang nakitaan ng mas mataas na visa refusals. Resulting in increases in visa refusals and misrepresentation investigations. Yan. Application intake from key countries, including India, Bangladesh, and Nigeria has dropped as well. Ayun. Sige. Ngayon, I will share with you an earlier recorded interview with Dayanara M. Puerto Pantique, isa po sa mga suki nating immigration consultant. And here are her tips also, no? Kung paano nyo ma-strengthen ang inyong visitor visa applications kung kayo ay may balak mag-apply. Ito po yan. Okay, so mataas pa rin right now, I believe, ang refusal rate. Okay, for visitor visa, kahit visitor na lang, dami pang nade-deny. What can an applicant do to boost his or her chances of getting approved? Alam mo, marami lalo na nade-deny yung mga parents nila. Gusto sana nila lang dumating dito, naka-visitor visa, pero nade-deny pa rin. Ano ba ang pwede mong ipakita sa IRCC?
Well, it depends on the person. An approval for visitor visa application, well, any application honestly, pero more for visitor visa is dependent on the parang pagkatao nung nag-a-apply. Yun, sine-check yun eh. So, the most important aspect is the temporariness of the trip. Like, how temporary is this? What's the purpose of the trip and how temporary is this? So, I have clients who were able to get their approvals because their profiles are really good. Meron silang strong jobs in the Philippines, like permanent jobs. Meron silang permanent positions dun sa mga trabaho na yun. They have significant savings. They have family members who will remain. So, for example, my own mother, my mom, when we
Oh.
invited her before, we had to prove the temporariness of the trip. It is to help me take care of my baby. In-apply ko kasi siya, buntis pa po ako. So,
Oh.
pinakita ko yung medical certificate ko from my doctor that I'm about to give birth on this date. And we had to show our mine and my husband's jobs. I had to show that I have a business. My husband has a full-time job. He will return on this date, ganyan ganyan. And then we had to show our savings as a couple. And then we had to show her qualifications as an applicant then. So she has children. May mga kapatid po ako na may iwan sa Pilipinas. Her husband will remain in the Philippines. She has assets. She has her communications, her relationships to the church. She is part of, she's volunteering. So parang she has a life in the Philippines to
Yeah.
return to. She has roots to the Philippines.
Yeah.
That's what you have to prove. A lot of the time, ang nagiging issue is hindi laging konkreto yun eh. Yung roots natin sa Pilipinas. May mga negosyo tayo pero walang tax.
Oh, yeah. Totoo
May
yan.
may mga lupa tayo pero hindi papel. Parang ano lang, walang titulo. May mga trabaho tayo pero hindi laging may papeles. Minsan kasi kapag may papeles, magbabayad ka nga ng tax. So meron tayong mga ganyan sa Pilipinas na honestly, hindi mag-work dito sa Canada. Matanggap tayo ng sahod in cash sometimes for some of our side gigs in Canada. Anything that you transact using cash may be seen as illegal. So, may mga bagay tayong hindi natin kayang bigyan ng hindi natin kayang mag-provide ng papel para sa mga yon. Kaya tayo nahihirapang mag-apply. Plus, there's the reality na maraming mga Pilipino na nakakarating ng Canada na hindi gumagawa ng maganda. So, nakakasakit.
Marami din ba, you would say?
Oh, yes. Yes. Marami po na, syempre, base nga po dun sa pinakita mo sa akin kanina, Miss, sa mga Indian, 81% refusal or something. The actions of others will affect your application then as a Filipino. That's just the truth.
Yeah. No, what I'm asking is, you think pati ang mga Pinoy, katulad doon, nung binanggit mo, sa kanila kasi 81% yung refusal rate. Sa atin ay ganun din. And meron kasing data doon sa same article na pinakita ko sa'yo. They are being cited as the source of fraud. Meron pa din doon sinasabi na kasi pag dumating dito, may iba naman palang ginagawa, hindi talaga. Ganun din ba? Would you say kilala yung mga Pilipino na ganun din?
Hindi tayo kilala sa ganun.
Hindi naman, no? Okay.
Pero hindi ibig sabihin wala sa ating gumagawa ng ganun.
Correct.
Hindi tayo pwedeng magmalinis. Diba? Meron pong gumagawa ng ganyan na hindi pa lang talaga nahuhuli. Pero kasi sila din, Miss, yung wala na akong pakialam eh. Wala na akong kung ma-deport ako, mahuli ako, basta kumikita ako dito, wala na akong pakialam kung magkasakit ako. Basta, and wala akong pakialam sa kung anong mangyayari sa reputasyon ng mga Pilipino dahil sa ginagawa ko.
Yeah.
Marami sa ating ganyan. Diba?
Conflicted rin ako sa paano ko sila ano ang magiging tingin ko sa kanila. Because sometimes if you hear their stories, how troubled they are back home, yung way of life nila, yung literal, yung hindi sila makakain ng 3 beses sa isang araw. Mga ganyan ang storya ng mga tao. Tapos if they have the chance to escape that, talagang alam nga naman kung nandun ka,
hindi mo din masisisi. Tapos yung, parang may napanood nga ako na nakaraan na reels na isang reel na parang may picture, may video ng baby na parang sinasabi nung nanay na, I would do anything for my child. So I cannot fault a mother or a father who wants to do these things for their child too.
Correct.
If I were in the same position, I would do the same. But what you have to understand is, ang batas, wala naman ganun eh. Diba? So, sa mata ng Canada, sa data na meron ng Canada, ito yung nangyayari. It's a number. Diba? Hindi naman nakikita yung story behind the number. Correct. So, doon mo makikita na kung ano yung ginagawa talaga ng ilan, ay makaka-apekto din sa ilan. Yun yung nakakalungkot na katotohanan doon.
Yeah. Pero guys, we are not encouraging, hindi namin sinasabi na okay lang, na gawin nyo yan.
We're not
Okay? Hindi.
saying, we're saying
We're
we
just
understand.
acknowledging that
Yeah.
it is a reality.
It's a reality na meron
Oo.
tayong mga kababayan na syempre pag nakapunta ng Canada, nakakita ng maginhawang buhay na parang ganitong oras ang trabaho mo, ganito ang kikitain mo, kumpara mo naman sa Pilipinas, 'di ba, na pagka ganito ang kinikita mo, like ko ang sinasabi, pareho lang naman yung pagod ko, pero syempre iba yung sahod ko.
Oo.
'Di ba, may mga ganong katwiran. We understand it, but if you're going by, kung pupunta naman tayo dun sa point of view ng mga nag-a-apply na hindi sila makapasok dahil may ganito tayong reputasyon,
Yeah.
syempre masakit.
Correct.
Masakit.
Okay. Wait, rewind back, tayo? Balik ulit tayo. Ito pala, yung mga may occasions dito,
May
usually,
weddings.
may wedding or kahit nga birthday ng anak kahit hindi
Opo.
milestone birthday, okay. Ano ba yan? Mabilis ba ma-approve ang visitor visa? Kapag meron kang mapakita ang invitation, syempre magka-Canva ka pa o piprint mo na maganda.
I know.
Yung mga
I
ganyan.
know.
Oo.
Actually, hindi miss hindi lagi. Minsan nga may kliyente pa ako, may sakit yung kapatid niya.
Oh.
Walang mahanap na mag-aalaga. So, kaya kailangan ng kuha ng kamag-anak sa Pilipinas para pumunta dito at mag-alaga, ganyan. Minsan hindi din. Kasi, ang nakakalungkot na katotohanan ay marami naman talagang gumagawa na pupunta dito kasi may birthday tapos di na uwi.
Oo.
Diba? Maraming mga may gumagawa meron kaming kamag-anak na ganun, kinasal dito yung isa sa mga kamag-anak namin, kinukuha niyang pilit yung dalawa niyang kapatid na may ilang refusal na ganyan para makapunta dito sa Canada at maka-attend ng kasal, hindi pa din. Hindi pa din po talaga. Kasi, sa totoo lang, Miss, hindi pwedeng talunin nun yung katotohanan na may okasyon, na may masayang okasyon. Hindi nun itatrump yung characteristic pa din ng tao na nag-a-apply.
Yeah.
If that person has suspicious activities, for example, hindi, 10 taon na ako nagtatrabaho as a driver, for example, but you don't have evidence of it. You don't have tax filings of it, employment documents of it, SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig contributions from that employment, it's going to be really hard to prove that you have this career set up back home. Isa pa sa mga nahihirapan, Miss, yung mga kababayan na natin na nasa Dubai.
Why?
Ganyan. Kadalasan nahihirapan silang mag-apply ng visitor visa because their status in that country that they're in is temporary. So, the reality is, for a lot of our kababayans, nakadepende sa employer nila yung status nila sa Dubai. May employer na willing mag-apply sa'yo ng visa, then pwede kang magstay sa Dubai. Di ba ganun yun? Parang ilan lang naman ng taong nakakapag-stay as resident in Dubai na walang employer na kailangan. I think yun lang may mga hawak na golden visa, if I'm not mistaken. Pero kung ikaw ay normal na tao, ang hawak mo ay residence permit, for example, you need an employer to back that up. Parang LMIA. Parang ganon. Diba? The issue is yung Abu Dhabi office, pag nakikita nila na ay temporary lang yung nature nito, 1 taon na lang yung permit niya.
Baka nag-iisip na sa Canada.
Baka hindi na siya bumalik. Kasi, diba, baka hindi na siya bumalik. Kasi unang-una, walang kasiguraduhan kung pababalikin siya ng employer niya. Umalis na siya ng Dubai. Yung mga ganon, yung may mga pag nasa ibang bansa ka, tapos merong temporary nature yung hawak mong permit dun sa bansa kung nasan ka, may tendency din na hindi ma-approve yung visitor visa po na ina-apply ninyo.
I see.
Na kahit sabihin natin, 17 years na ako sa Dubai, hindi pa din. Malaki ang ipon ko sa Dubai. Hindi pa din. May mga ganyan po talaga. Yes po.
Okay. But guys, syempre, hindi naman namin sinasabi na puro refusal lang. Meron naman pong na-approve.
Yes.
No? I think the general statistic is 50%.
50-50.
Pangkalahatan. Okay? 50%.
50-50.
That means 50-50. 51%.
Yes. Yeah. Kahit yung study permit mas malaki ng konti. Parang 60-40. Kasi nga, syempre mahigpit ang Canada sa ngayon. Pero I think I posted something about this on my page na Canada has historically been doing these changes. Nagsimula to noong 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Merong mga time talaga na there was a time, I think 2012, 2013, when they let go of like 300,000 applications.
Yeah.
Just wala.
Correct.
There was a time like that. But may marami nagtatanong sa akin na posible ba yun? Miss, posible ba yun na mangyari ngayon na parang wala lahat ng mga application na yun? Sabi ko sa mga asylum applications, pwede nilang gawin yan. Sa mga HNC applications, pwede nilang gawin yan. Pero doon sa mga permanent residency applicants na mayroong nomination, yung mga permanent residency applicants na na-invite na express entry, hindi nila yun gagawin.
We'll see. Oh, I hope not, no?
I hope not, pero I don't think gagawin nila. Kasi yung mga taong yun, may mga nakadikit doon. Nyari, yung provincial nominee applicants, may mga nakadikit doon na job offer eh.
Okay.
So, ikikripple mo din yung company.
Pati si employer,
you know, apektado si employer. So, hindi. I don't think that's gonna happen. Pero yung mga asylum seekers na, in a way, nuisance na lang din. Yung mga international students na biglang gustong maging asylum seekers, yan, they can definitely do like a mass refusal on those. If they see na, oh my God, you've been in Canada for 7 years, tapos ngayon ka lang mag-apply ng asylum.
Correct.
You know, they can, those are the applications na pwede lang basta itanggalin. Pero yung iba, you know, just, hanggat wala kayong naririnig from the IRCC itself, don't panic.
Correct. Yeah. And good point about that. Yung mga nagsasabi nga na maaaring magkaroon ng mass cancellations. Okay.
Pwede pero
pwede pala
nangyayari. Hold your horses.
Yeah. Okay. Yun lang, Dayanara. Thanks so much. All right. So, ayun. Sana meron po kayong natutunan doon sa ating maikling interview with Dayanara. For now, we will end this episode here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!